Fox fire alarm ordinance. Is there anyone here wishing to address the commissioners in this public hearing? If not, I declare the public hearing closed. Item B is considering adopting the Fox fire alarm ordinance.
I make a
What's the
motion.
pleasure of the board?
I make a motion.
Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Dr. Ozeman Goins. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Individual delegation wish to address the commissioners?
Mr. Melvin, Mr. Don Melvin, has signed up.
Okay. Come on, Mr. Don.
Good afternoon, everyone, commissioners, chairman. First thing, I talked to Charles earlier, asked if it would be appropriate for me to poll the commissioners to see if, which ones, if they were getting the information from Maria through my Facebook post or my emails. And Mr. Peterson said that he would get with Greg and give me that information at a later date.
Right.
Obviously, I travel around Bladen County quite a bit, and I announced actually on Facebook several weeks ago, or a month ago or so, that I am going to run for Bladen County Sheriff. There is serious issues with the Sheriff's Department, has been for many years. And I'm just listening to the citizens. Obviously, I have my own nightmare stories to tell, and I think some of you may already be familiar with it. But and I don't know what kind of role y'all play in this, but there's crimes being committed. I'll just give you one example of many. My campground. My brother sold it to a young man named A.J. Keating. I visited with him. Now, since he's my neighbor at my campground, we share the campground. I visit him occasionally, and we talk just concerning issues about the campground, upkeep, this, that, and other. And he shared with me that recently a excavator, he's in the logging industry. An excavator was stolen. He said that that the deputy came out. He said there was no, to his knowledge, no pictures, no fingerprints, no nothing. We waited several days. He called the Sheriff's Department and talked with someone, and they said that an investigator would be contacting him immediately. Well, he's yet to hear anything from the Bladen County Sheriff's Department. And that's, like I said, that's just one example. I could sit here and give you 100, but I'm not. But there's serious issues with the Sheriff's Department. People coming to me and telling me that they have all these, they're being robbed and people stealing their you know, everything, and nothing's happening. Nothing's happening. I'm gonna move on to my second. And it's concerning my announcement for running for sheriff. My involvement in politics has been very small in Bladen County in the past. I can promise you that in the next election, I will be very involved, either supporting or campaigning against certain people. And I'm not saying this boastfully, but obviously I have an enormous amount of experience with campaigns, being the lead campaigner for North Carolina State Senator when he first ran for city council, Fayetteville City Council in 2006, when he ran for re-election in 2008, and also he ran for North Carolina State Senate in 2010. I was his field representative and lead campaigner also in 2012, 2014. He did not need me in 2016.
Mr. Melvin, if you got business with the county, you need to be telling me. If you don't,
I'm
conversation's gonna be over.
Well, my business is.
Your election is not business of the county.
Okay, my next is concerning a dump beside of my property. A double first cousin was in the refrigeration business, buying and selling refrigeration equipment. He used the lot the land beside of where my home is, as a dump. There's the old rusted, refrigeration cases, it's got Freon in it. They used, there's a little ravine, they used it, to his family just to dump and not carry the trash to the dump. I first brought it to the attention of, Missouri years ago. And I asked him to, and then he came out with, this gentleman that Blackwater guy, I forgot his name, plays in the Blackwater band. Anyway, they came out, looked at it, they promised me something was gonna happen, and nothing happened. I readdressed it earlier this year. They came out again, they took pictures, nothing has happened whatsoever. I don't know how to proceed at this point, but I have a dump beside my house, and the guy who's responsible for it, is a pathological liar. He told me he was gonna take care of it, and nothing has happened, and I need it cleaned up.
Okay, we'll try to help you with that.
But the rest of them not.
Well, Mr. Melvin, the sheriff's department is elected.
I understand it.
And the county commissioners have no ruling or control over the Blaine County Sheriff's Department.
I understand.
All we do is financially fund them. So if you have a concern with the sheriff's department, you really need to go to the magistrate's office. And if they don't do something, then you have to go above them. But
Well,
there's nothing we can do as
I
commissioners.
do believe y'all as a group can put pressure.
No, it's not about pressure. That's, conversation's over. If you have any problems, go to
Just
the
one more
magistrate.
thing.
Magistrate's
There's
office.
gonna be legal issues, and if the commissioners are concerned,
No. Go to the magistrate's officer and follow that chain, because the commissioners have no say-so. I'm
okay.
sorry. but
Well, I
that's-
do want the commissioners to be aware of
Okay.
the corruption in Bladen County. That's what I do want
Okay.
them to be aware of.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. And we'll get back with you on the dump property
All right,
and,
the information.
What street you live on? What street you live on?
204 Melvin's Landing Road, Tar Heel, North Carolina, 28392.
okay.
And thanks again for your time.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
thank you, Mr. Don.
Thank you.
Matters of interest to commissioners, anyone have anything not? Okay, we'll do the bully prevention if y'all want to come forward. Ms. Cheryl? Hey, you can sit there if you want to.
So I'd just like to thank you guys for recognizing Bullying Prevention Awareness Month, October. We try to strive on bringing out our signs and symptoms for bullying prevention to the students, the schools, the local community. Just a couple of tips I've got here. Bullying makes kids and teenagers feel unsafe. It prevents you from being who you want to be, and it often lowers self-esteem. It's time to take a stand and put a stop to bullying. A couple of key points here. If a child is being bullied, we want to make sure that they speak up and that they feel, if they feel uncomfortable with the comments or actions of someone, make sure that they tell someone. Make sure it's a trusted adult that they confide in. Get familiar with what bullying is and what it is not. And if you recognize any of those descriptions, you should stay calm, stay respectful, and tell an adult as soon as possible. And if someone is bullying you online or via text message, please remember bullying does not only happen at school. It can happen anywhere, including through texting, the internet, or social media. And for any more information for students, parents, educators, I've got a lot of facts and tips. And so my name's Cheryl Harris. I'm with East Point MCO. You can give me a call at 910-272-1218.
Whereas bullying is physical, verbal, sexual, and emotional harm and intimidation intentionally directed to a person or group of people. And whereas bullying occurs in neighborhood playgrounds, schools, and through technology such as the internet and cell phones. Whereas various researchers have concluded that bullying is the most common form of violence affecting millions of American children and adolescents annually. Thousands of children and adolescents are affected by bullying annually. Targets of bullying are more likely to acquire physical, emotional, and learning problems than students who are repeatedly bullied or often fear some activities of riding the school bus, going to school, attending community activities. Children who bully are at greater risk of engaging in more serious violent behavior. Children who witness bullying often feel less secure, more fearful, and intimidated. Therefore, let it be resolved that the Blaine County Board of Commissioners proclaim October as Bully Prevention Awareness Month. And be it further resolved that the Blaine County schools, students, parents, recreation programs, religious institutions, and community organizations be encouraged to engage in a variety of awareness and prevention activities designed to make our communities safer for all children and adolescents. Thank you, Ms. Rose. Item 7 is Blaine County School, Ms. Sharon Kenney.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You should have a list of projects that we are asking approval to use our sales tax money on.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'll motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Second, second by Mr. Priest. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you, Ms. Kennedy.
Thank you.
8 is finance, Ms. Lisa.
Utopia. I'd like to go over the dashboard for the month ending September 2017, that's 25% of the year. The revenues, we've collected 27.19% of the budget, and the expenditures, we've spent 19.85. The jail project is at 92% at the current time. We're still getting some small invoices coming in occasionally. Solid waste, we've collected 36.5% and spent 20.5%. Versus telephone, we've collected 13.93 and spent 27.59. And the water department has collected 27.51% and spent 9.57. Anybody have any questions on the dashboard?
I had asked about the jail at one time on the tabulation on all those.
We're still paying bills. As soon as we get everything finalized, we'll give you the detail of everything paid.
Are we within the boundary?
We've gotten the last invoice in for the contractor, but before USDA will approve it, we have a lot of documentation we have to get ready before he'll approve that retainage to be paid out.
Any other questions? Number 9 is Health and Human
Thank you.
Services Director, Mr.
Good,
Davis.
good.
Evening, everybody.
A is consider approving the Blaine Community College Lobotomy course contract.
So this is a program we do to help educate their students. They're under supervision, of course, and the way it normally works is they practice their skills, but of course they're asked permission to have a student, and the patients are asked permission to have a student do the stick.
Pleasure of the board.
So moved.
Mr. Cogdell, second by Mr. Truitt. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Item B is consider approving the statewide enhanced primary care case management program.
So this is the contract with CCNC, Community Care of North Carolina. The title of it is Primary Care Case Management Program, but that's a catch-all term. We don't do primary care at the health department. We do the CC4C and the pregnancy care management programs, which are case management programs on contract with CCNC. They pay us a per member per month rate to do those programs. We have 2 people doing those programs. If you will remember, CCNC manages the Medicaid population in our area, across the state, but in Bladen County. Those 2 programs do case management for Medicaid enrollees and help them with their healthcare needs. And we need this contract with them in order to conduct this program.
Motion by Mr. Britt, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Bullock. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consider the North Carolina IT agreement.
So this is an organization related to our EMR provider, Electronic Medical Record, QRMD. What they do is come in and do a required HIPAA risk assessment which looks at both our IT system, but also our processes and HIPAA security procedures within the health department, which is all geared toward protecting people's personal health information. So they do a full analysis and give it to us and help us comply with those rules.
Motion by Mr. Britt, second by Mr. Gooden. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consider approving the letter of agreement with Blaine County Public Schools.
This is an annual renewal we do with them to provide them services and consultation for health services within the schools, for the school health nurses.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Lewis, second by Mr. Britt. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consider approving the minority diabetes prevention program agreement with Robinson County Health Department.
So Robinson County received some funding through the state and they're serving the region. We'll be getting $250 a week, $250 a week to do the program for Bladen. We have a staff member at the health department who's received some training already. The goal is to recruit mainly minorities into a diabetic education program that's targeted to pre-diabetics, to enroll them in a rather lengthy educational program with their incentives involved, and so we're getting funding from Robinson for the system.
Motion by Mr. Britt, second by Mr. Trivett. Any discussion?
There's one thing, on those incentives, if, a lot of minorities, not minorities, people in general, have a problem with the cost of insulin. Is this any incentives to help people with that type of thing, dealing with minorities with a
Well,
situation?
not with medicine, but this is really targeted toward pre-diabetics and those on the line who we're trying to prevent from becoming diabetics. So this is before they're gonna need the medicine. So the incentives are around healthy eating, food security, and that kind of thing. Starts out small, and eventually they get larger and larger incentives throughout the program.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Consider approving affiliation agreement with South University.
Again, this is an agreement just to provide them with nursing education.
Motion by Mr. Trivett, second by Mr. Bullock. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Mr. Kip McClary, thank you, Mr. David. Consider accepting a bid for our Department of Social Service roof replacement project.
Good evening. Okay, you have before you a recommendation to proceed with a contract with Industrial Contract Service Corporation of Wilmington, North Carolina, to provide us with a new roof for the Department of Social Services building. I think many of you are aware of the history of leaks and problems we've had with that building. We considered the various types of roofing materials that were available to us and what would be best suited for that building. I will explain that that building presently has a retrofit roof system over the existing part of the building. There is still a gravel, built-up roof buried beneath the insulation material and the membrane that's on top. So leaks through the membrane have penetrated in through the insulation and gotten into the old gravel bed, and they spring up in sporadic locations around the building. You can't find where these are coming in at. You can seal one problem, but it may show up in another place. So the roof is beyond its years of useful service. So we considered the various types of roofing that were available. We invited a couple folks to take a look at it. The recommendation was that the roof be stripped down to the bare metal decking, getting rid of all of the old roof material, all of the retrofit material, and starting over from the decking up with a new insulated hard surface roof that will then have a dual layer membrane on top, which should provide us at least 20 years of useful service. In the bid documentations that were written, we specified a Trimco type roof material. Trimco is actually offering to give us a 20-year warranty on this roof. And at the 20-year interval, they said they could come in and evaluate the roof condition and possibly offer a coating to go on top of that to extend the life even further. But we know for what we're looking at here is extensive work. The addition part of the roof will be handled differently than the initial part of the roof, which is the main building, because that's a newer system and a newer roof. We feel like we can work with the materials that are already there on that part, but do a new coating on that and preserve the life of it. So for the $292,475, which was a low bid industrial contract services, I am recommending we proceed with contract with them to do the roof.
What's the pleasure of the board? All right, Bill Moon, Gordon made the motion to approve, Mr. Good, second, any questions?
Question, Mr. Chairman, did the prior contractor have any kind of liability insurance or anything?
What we are doing right now, the prior contract, you said,
Yes.
I think we've exhausted all of that.
That's run out.
It's run out.
That's already been passed.
All right,
So,
thank
So,
you, sir.
but,
Yes, ma'am.
My question, when you said, they have 20-year warranty, is that for service or material?
that's, materials, and the contract warranty for the work itself is a 5-year warranty for the contractor who installs it. But the contractor who installs it will be held for 5 years to do replacement work or repair work. The company who's providing the materials will do 20 years for the life of the roof.
the question I'm asking is, you said it's a new roof, a portion of it's a new roof that you were saying.
The addition on the building is newer than the original building.
So, is this for the total, including the addition, that all this warranty and everything?
The
will be
warranty
on?
will be on all
The
surfaces
complete
on the roof.
roof.
Yes, sir.
With part- that's all.
Mr. Kit, will the roof be slanted any?
Yes, sir. They're gonna use a taper insulation. We'll still have roof drains on the roof, and we'll still have air conditioning equipment on the roof, but they're gonna use a wedge type insulation to build up and create some pitch on that roof so that we don't have ponding or standing water. That's been one of our problems with that.
We had a discussion about the roof, and he was saying that there was some bacteria or something that was eating that roof internally, that they was having problems with.
Yes, sir. We found some evidence, we think, of some insects that are embedded in that roof. All that'll be taken
All
off,
that's
back
gonna be
down
removed.
to the original metal decking. Now, I will point out that there is some unit pricing in the contract. If we get into it and we find that part of that metal decking is deteriorated to the point it needs repair, this comes back to us as a unit price in the contract. There's no way any contractor can verify what's there until the roof is off. So that we may get into some unit cost items here, but I think we'll still be within budget when it's all said and done.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Thank you, Mr. Kit.
Thank you.
11A is advisory board, industrial facility and pollution control financing authority. Anybody have one? Joyce Waters, if it's okay with the board, someone nominate Ms. Joyce.
Make a nomination.
Mr. Britt nominated Ms. Joyce Waters, second by Mr. Dallas. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed? Keep Bladen beautiful. Mr. Britt has a couple.
Shantae Hayes for East Bladen High School representative, and Kip McClary to replace Steve Melson, who has left the area.
Mr. Kip, you'll be, and a designee, which if you can find someone a little bit later on.
Yes, sir.
And does someone have a recommendation to replace Dr. Taylor?
He wanted to come out, right?
He was done.
He ain't resigned, he just don't show. Okay, so we need a motion to approve, Mr. Britt, and then we'll table, Dr. Taylor.
So,
Mr. Britt made a motion, second by Dr. O'Feeman going. Can we do the table all at once? Is that good with you?
And say we table.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you. Mr. Martin, so if someone can know someone in the school system wants to serve on that, we need to bring them next time, okay? But Dr. Taylor said he thought it'd be all right with 2 students there. If they need anything, they can get with the schools, so we can find someone in the school system, put on there, or just anybody that is willing to participate. Calendar update, Mr. Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to review the calendar with you for the remainder of the month of October as well as November. I would like to point out that tomorrow at the Ag Center, there will be a Lock and Dam Fish Passage Project update. The portion of that project that pertains to Lock and Dam 2 and 3 will begin around 1 o'clock. So, love for you to come and learn more about that project. On Thursday, the 19th, at 6 p.m., the Lumber River Council of Governments annual dinner will be held at the Southeastern Agricultural Center in Lumberton. Also that evening at 6:30 p.m., the Seafood and Sunset fundraiser will be held at the venue at Regal Resort at White Lake. One new item that Mr. Reverend Larry Hayes just told me about before the meeting began, is that next Monday, the 23rd at 6 p.m., the Crowd America event that was postponed on 9/11 will be held. So that's next Monday at 6 p.m. here on the courthouse lawn.
6 p.m.
Yes, sir. And we'll send you a reminder of that about that too. On Friday, the 27th and Saturday, the 28th, the Beast Fest will be held in Bladenboro. Also, on Saturday, the 28th at 12 p.m., Smithfield will have a 25th anniversary lunch event, and that will be held at the facility there in Tar Heels, is my understanding.
Yeah, and if I may, I got a call, and they're gonna have a 12 o'clock lunch, and then they're gonna have a short business meeting, so, and it's, leisure dress,
What day is that again?
the 28th.
Saturday.
28.
It's right there. So whoever can go needs to go. It's in their schedule.
Moving over to November, on Friday the 3rd at 8:30 a.m., the United Way Day of Caring event will be held, and that will kick off at the Farmers Market here in Elizabethtown. The board, well, there's a prayer service on Monday the 6th at 8 a.m. The board meets that evening at 6:30. On Wednesday the 8th at 11, the 12th annual Bladen County Veterans Day ceremony will be held at the National Guard Armory. On Thursday the 9th at 7 p.m., the Bladen County Fire Association meeting will be held at the Tobermory Fire Department. On Friday the 10th, offices will be closed in observance of the Veterans Day holiday. On Saturday the 18th, the Pork and Beets Festival will be held here in Elizabethtown, and that will be at the Farmers Market. On Monday the 20th at 6:30 p.m., the board meets. Offices will be closed on the 23rd and 24th in observance of the Thanksgiving holiday. And on Sunday the 26th at 3 p.m., the Elizabethtown White Lake Area Chamber of Commerce annual Christmas parade will be held. And you all are invited to participate in that. If there are no questions regarding the calendar, moving on to item B, the board is requested to consider adopting a resolution supporting an all-way stop at the intersection of Highway 20 and Chickenfoot Road. And this is to submit to DOT.
What's the pleasure of the board?
Four-way stop.
Four-way stop at Chickenfoot and 20.
Save the life.
Motion by Mr. Dowling, second by Dr. Ophir Monroe. Any discussion? I don't know how many's been down 41 there, but the state has put those red flashing lights up there, and
It's solar powered, I believe it's solar powered, isn't it?
yeah, but I mean, that's the thing they're gonna do at all four-way stops, my understanding, so it's a good improvement. And it come out of Blaine County to upgrade. Any more discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Thank you. And then item C, Mr. Chairman, is a brief North Carolina Association of County Commissioners video update.
Hello and welcome to the County Update video for October 2017. This video is produced by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners each month to keep county officials informed about association activities. On Saturday, August 12th, the NCACC wrapped up its 110th annual conference in Durham County. The event culminated with the swearing in of the NCACC's 101st president, Durham County Commissioner Brenda Howerson. During the business session of the conference, Ronnie Smith, Martin County Commissioner, was elected to serve as the association's next second vice president. In addition, commissioners voted for Surrey County Commissioner Larry Phillips to serve as president-elect, and Yadkin County Commissioner Kevin Austin to serve as first vice president. Furthermore, Davidson County Commissioner Fred McClure became immediate vice president. During the conference, several individuals were honored for their support of the counties. Fred McClure, NCACC immediate past president, and Davidson County Commissioner received the Outstanding County Commissioner Award. Delilah Blanks, former Bladen County Commissioner and NCACC past president, David Thompson, former NCACC executive director, and Danny Wright, former Vance County Commissioner and NCACC past president, were all inducted into the NCACC Hall of Fame. Michael Sprayberry, director of North Carolina Emergency Management, received the Friends of the Counties Award, and the UNC School of Government received the Distinguished Service Award. Additionally, several counties were recognized by the local government federal credit union and the North Carolina Cooperative Extension Service for establishing innovative practices that improve services for citizens.